Welcome to episode 126 of the Better With Running podcast. And we've got a massive show coming up for you today. My name's Chris Armstrong and I'm joined by my co-host, Zac and Newman. How are you, mate?
Oh, good, mate. Yes, big show, Chriso. How are you going, mate?
Oh, it's going to be huge tonight. I'm good. I'm super excited for this one.
Well, been a lot of stuff going down in the running world in terms of, obviously, at the top end of town, we had the World Cross Trials, which we're going to unpack a little bit with our man, Mitch. He's jumping back on the mic.
He is. We're excited to have Mitch. And Mitch is always excited to join us to talk about anything. So very much looking forward to catching up with him.
And 2 bays went down. We had a lot of Run2PB athletes and a couple of coaches going around, actually. And off the back of that, we unearthed the hero of the week from the 2 bays performance at 2 bays at caught our eye.
Mate, 2 bays had everything. There was quite a few standout Run2PB performances, as you mentioned. That we've got a hero of the week from there, and I believe Borat even made a cheeky appearance as well.
Yeah, I'm glad this is an audio. We don't have to go back through and endure some of or make our listeners endure that the visual that was on Madeline Heiner's Instagram post. Mads went out and did the run, did the 2 bays with a couple of one of my athletes and her own athlete. And yeah, there was some weird and wonderful people at the 2 bays, weird and wonderful costumes, I should say. And the Borat Mankini made an appearance. I assume they were on the 26K.
Yeah, it sort of looked like Mads was subjected to running up Arthur's seat about 10 meters behind our dear friend in the green mankini. And if anyone's
seen the post, we'll drop it in the maybe drop it in the show notes. I did.
it's not
when I was pretty. Posting the socials, I reposted one of Mads's on the Run2PB page. There was about 6 photos and I definitely didn't include that one. Just it's too much. People want to go through and put themselves through that. They can themselves, but it's it kind of brought back memories of in a roundabout way what we endured at the Gold Coast.
Yes, there were shades of that. That's for sure. And
the level of chafing, I imagine.
No, that was early on in the run. I can only imagine what the last few Ks were, going up big steps and running through the sand. And luckily it wasn't too hot, but oh boy.
I wonder what the backstory is. I mean, you've got to have lost a pretty substantial bet. Yes, you did. Anyway, we've also got
world record.
Maybe a little bit of a world record chat, or we've got it. Well, we're going to actually go into our own Erchana, and I had the privilege of getting out there for her last lap of the tan as she finished off her 150th marathon. So I guess that's going to be a world record chat. That is a legit world record that has captured the nation from what we've seen in the last sort of 24, 48 hours.
Oh, it's been brilliant. It's gone viral. It's all over the country, and it's been picked up internationally as well, which is pretty cool. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very bit of we'll go into it a little bit later when we go through my week about joining her on that lap. But yes, but before we get there, mate, how about you? Your training week? I know last week you talked about a little bit of niggle, managing through that. How are you going now?
Yeah, making some gradual progress. So going to try a session tomorrow, and I think we can do a real quick recap my week, ran about 65 Ks. They were all easy. I think I did maybe 4 by 15-second strides, and they felt okay, but not brilliant. And that was it. Did a long run on the Saturday, about a bit tick over an hour and a half, and I find that I'm pulling up a little bit better each day. So yeah, the confidence is coming back in the body, and we'll see how tomorrow goes on the track.
Even your just doing, what are you doing? So 20K, 15 to 20K less than usual.
Where are we? Last week was probably about
65. So
about 12 to 13.
Okay.
K less. So it's about an hour's worth of running less.
But no session.
No session, and also only did 2 strength sessions last week instead of 3.
Yeah. So how did you feel energy wise? Did you feel like you had a little bit more in the tank, or just same?
Probably noticed it more at the start of this week, whereas last week I reckon I was probably still recovering because things were, I guess, pretty heavy, like in terms of the legs and all that sort of thing. But yeah, this week, like Monday, Tuesday runs, definitely had a lot more pop in the legs than I normally would, and had a complete rest day today. So no Pilates or gym today. So yeah, I'm just can't wait to get out there and do a bit of faster stuff tomorrow.
Nice. It's almost a nice little reset, I guess. Obviously, it's not ideal when you have to take a little bit of a forced recovery week, I guess. Yeah.
I'm sort of looking at it like normally before a race, Andy will give me a bit of an absorb week anyway, just to give the body a chance to absorb what we've been doing. And so as it's turned out, well, last week it wasn't sort of necessarily by design, but I'm just sort of looking at a chance for the body to absorb all the other work too. And so like whilst it would be good to be increasing the long run and doing some harder sessions, that's all right. We'll get the opportunity again this week. Like the longer runs back out to an hour 40, and we'll still do, which is decent volume for me. So anyway, I guess for me, first things first, I just got to make sure I pull up all right after my session tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and just it's being healthy and still being able to run 65 Ks a week, and you got to take that as a positive. It's when you sometimes really cop an injury and you're derailed and you can't even get out the door, at least you can. That's always good. And you managed to bloody still snag a couple of local legends. Local legend of the Botan 1K.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Those ones pretty much, because obviously myself and Anna run together all the time. It's either one of us have got most of those, and she's away on holidays this week. So as soon as I go and do a couple of those loops, they all end up on my Strava. So her poor old email will be getting bombarded and being told that she's lost her local legend status this week. But a few digital crowns and reefs heading my way over the next few days.
Yeah, print that out, put it on the in the pool room.
Yeah, no, certainly
screenshots.
treasured collectibles, that's for sure.
NFTs.
Yeah, mate, but big money.
Yeah, not anymore.
Well, yeah, it used to be worth something.
Good stuff, mate. And from here, what happens this week? So we're Wednesday session tomorrow.
Yeah, session tomorrow. So 1600 at 10K effort, 4x400. It's sort of around 3K effort, and then finish off with a 1600. Then really only just trying to match what we did on that first set of 16. So see how that goes. Get the spikes out, mate. Going to head down to the track and hopefully not get attacked by plovers or homeless people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a few residents that that sort of out very early up there to be aware of. But no, we'll see what it's like.
Sure, you got them covered, mate. You've been in the gym a couple of times.
Yeah, yeah. I'm mate. The only way if I get attacked, I'm gonna be relying on my spikes, not my arms. So I'm gonna be trying to run out there as quickly as I can.
Nice.
What about yourself, mate? Let's see, in good form, knocked over, was it a nice sort of hearty session on a Saturday, 3K, 2K, 1K?
Yeah, so other days just cruising around, waiting for that session, obviously, to come by on the Saturday, because we would have talked about the 800, the Tuesday session, what was 800s, I think we'd done. And then, yeah, had a sort of, not so on paper, it's only 6K of effort. So, and I was sort of mindful that we'd done, a decent volume on the Tuesday. This one was more pretty controlled early and then to work into it. But it was warming up, like randomly, even in the morning, I sort of woke up Saturday morning and there was like a little bit of tightness in the bottom of my left foot, just on the side. And it was, just first few steps, like, that's a bit weird. And then, I just felt it on the first few steps warming up, and then it kind of went away. And it was more like just it wasn't a plan. I've had plantar in the past. It was sort of different to a plantar feeling. So I don't know if I was running a certain way one of those days leading in and shifted my bodies a certain way. It just didn't feel right, and could have been a shoe I was wearing, I don't know. And then I did a couple of did the warm-up, did the warm-ups and the heavies, and then changed the shoes. Sort of, I was just a little bit iffy. But as I'd finished the warm-up, I hadn't felt it. Then chucked the alphas on, did a few strides, and I could still feel it in the strides. I was like, this doesn't feel good anyway. I had a quick bathroom stop, and it was warm. I think we started at 7:30, I reckon we warmed up at. And I only did a few strides, and then a couple of, and it was pretty much one more, and it was like, okay, it still feels a little bit iffy, but hey, I'll just start it and we'll just see. And if I have to sort of just rein it in, I'll adjust the workout. But funnily enough, as I started the rep, it just completely went, and I didn't feel it within a minute. I was like, oh, okay, this is great. I can't even feel it yet. I could feel it doing strides.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. This, maybe it'll come back later, but at the moment I'll get out and keep rolling. And it was funny because I just felt like I was up and going early, and felt a lot easier than last week, even though I've sort of looked at I was through the first K, and it was, okay, the goal back to the goal of the 3K, 2K, 1K was a 3-minute and a 2-minute recovery between them. The 3K was to go out around the 3:30 mark and then try to pick it up in the 2K, and then on the 1K, not all out on the 1K, but just a sort of 10K, or at least probably a little bit under 10K effort, really, just sort of more 5K, and just see what I've got off the back of those reps. But we were out in 3:30s, and I actually looked when I saw it was 3:30, I was like, okay, this feels almost like I was holding back, but I was expecting to see 3:40s. And I was like, okay, this feels a lot better than last week. And we were pretty consistent through that 3K. I think we were down to 3:26s towards the end of.
Okay.
So it felt good. Like, I actually felt really good through the body, and even mechanically, I felt like I looked a lot better than last week. And I think I spoke about last week, I just felt a bit off for bit part of the session until the back half. And we had so it was a decent recovery, 3-minute just cruisy jog, and then into the 2. The 2 came out pretty solid. It was bang on 3:20-ish, I reckon. Bring up those notes. Anyway, it was felt really good there. Going in knowing there was like, I don't know, 1K to go, I was like, okay, this is, well, actually the standard, we had a great run with bikes and other runners. Everyone was sort of really, until we got to one.
Not again. Surely not.
We're starting to go to the 1K rep, and we're on the on the road, and you've got the bike lane, and then you've got the parking lane effectively. And there's no one's parking it. It's 7:45 in the morning or 8 o'clock. So you're basically sitting on the left or the inside of so I'm not even in the bike lane. I'm in the parking lane, and starting my last 1K rep, and straight into it. Oh, actually, before that, Alad actually said it was. I thought he said 3 minutes, and it's like a 3-minute recovery also after 2K, but it was actually a 2-minute after So I was on the recovery, and then he said, "Yep," because I was ahead of him, and it was off his watch. He said, "Yeah, go," and I was like, "Oh, what? Hang on." Kind of caught me off guard, and then he said, "No, we're only at 2 minutes." I was like, "Oh, bloody hell!" And then, so yeah, we're off rolling, and then I'm into this 1K, and just hear this lady on a bike just like bike back, and I was thinking, okay, there must be like a massive peloton, because I'm like, there's one of me. There's going to be like 20 of them. I was like, okay, cool. Look back, and it's just her and her husband.
Yeah, right.
And it's just, and then they go like shaking their head, and I just think, what the hell? So that sort of fired me up, because they weren't actually going that fast anyway. And
did they have stack hats on?
They had the flag at the back of the bike. Yeah, I think it was bike ed course. I don't understand. It was just because it startled me for one, because I'm just thinking, okay, you've just shouted this, and then I'm thinking, am I going to get mowed here? And even though I shouldn't even get mowed, because if they're all outside of that bike lane and in this car park, that's on them. Like, but yeah, it's just anyway. I've probably racked up enough hate points around town for going Albert Park cyclists, so I shouldn't whinge anymore. But just cracking me up.
I just think it's amazing when they've got their own special lane, and they've decided to ride outside that, and they're telling you to get out of the lane they're not supposed to be in, so they can ride.
And I'm going at 18k an hour or something. Like, you're going on the bike with two of you at like 35k from behind, so I've got no visibility. I'm the one that's completely exposed here. Like, anyway,
but you look out for them.
Yeah.
What do they want you to do? Like, just duck in, like dive into the grass and just curl up into a ball.
I just feel like that at the end. But yeah, it did fire me up. So I tried to almost mow them down, or like tack on
the back, let them block the road for a bit.
But yeah, finished it off, and it was pretty solid. What's happening with my computer? But yeah, it was around the 3:12 mark, I reckon.
Ooh,
that last K, and I felt like I was working, but it was I think that session that you knock the 3K off, and you go, it's only 3 more K to go. Like a 2K, you get a break, and I think given we did a full threshold last week, having those minute 2-minute break, 3-minute break made it a lot easier. So yeah, really happy with that. And there was obviously happy. It sort of felt like I dodged a bullet with the foot, with us, early on, whenever you've got something that just pops out of nowhere, you think, oh gee, this could be annoying, but that was fine and all good. Post run, what happened then? We had Sunday run was back out at Listy.
Yeah, back with the Kangaroos.
Took out some of the Melbourne Uni crew. A few of the guys had heard about Steve and his kangaroo spotting, and didn't believe him, and so all come out and see how many kangaroos we can count. And cruise out. And it was actually Al's birthday, so
happy birthday, Al!
Happy birthday, Al! And of course, he wanted to do a long run over some hills on a birthday morning. What better way to do it? And we actually did a different loop. We headed out, sort of outside of the Listerfield Park into another area, and it's hills at the start, and that's what kind of gets you, because you're coming in and go, okay, I'm probably used to the Yarra Flats where you just cruise into it, and then the hills come later, whereas the hills at the start, they get you. Not so much at the back end. We didn't really have that many. So good run. conjecture about how many I mean, yeah, people were putting in their Strava 63 and 60 plus, and
Yeah.
Steve didn't even count. So yeah, no, it was a really good fun run. Felt a little bit tired in the middle, like back end of it. And I think it was just the week caught up, and it's just one of those Sunday runs where you just kind of want to get towards the end by at the end.
Was it pretty warm out there?
No, it was sort of drizzling and it was humid, but it wasn't that warm. I think that we'd had a bit of a drop overnight.
Yeah, okay, you had a bit of a cool change already.
So yeah, that was Sunday.
Yep.
And Monday had, oh, that's right. Yeah, so the Monday usual run at the tan with the crew was quite different, with a bit of buzz with Erchana.
Yeah. Tell us about the vibe, mate. What was it like?
Well, what I noticed, like I obviously drive to the tan from work, so I'm coming along along the bottom there, down near the Yarra, and I spotted them, and I could see sort of group. This would have been around 5:30. I would have seen them. No, sorry, earlier than that. Nearly close to 5, and the plan was for Erchana to finish at 6 o'clock through the pillars down at the bottom of the tan. That's what they'd set it up to do. So I reckon it, and she'd been rolling a marathon, started at 1:30, and there'd been a small group, and it was just like a what are those things, like a flash mob, so there was more and more people joining. And when I drove past, it was like, okay, there's maybe 15 people, a couple of bikes. So, and then, parked, and then I waited for a couple of Maddie and Mads and Tommy Hall and Steve and Elle. And once we started and we rolled the other way, the crew had amassed each lap that, they'd taken on another 30 people. And then our plan was just to go the other way and then join it for the last lap. And and by the last lap, we would have been 50, 60 of us running with her.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And there was a lot of people. Obviously, the press was starting to roll up about that sort of 5:45. And they were setting up down the bottom. They had a few marquees and just a huge crowd of, friends and family. But it was more of you could sort of tell it was a community, kind of people who knew her, had followed the journey. And it was, it was just on a different, it was sort of suited the way she's gone about this whole journey. I think, she hasn't seeked, she hasn't really been self-promoting, what we want to say. Like, I think she's just gone and done it. She wanted to do it, and the purpose behind it, and she hasn't really got sort of swayed into, making a big song and dance about it. She's just, I'm going to keep doing it. And people, I think the true sort of fans and supporters came down and supported her. So it was really cool. But it was just seeing her energy. I mean, I saw her on the first lap, gave her a high five, and she was just smiling and like just so excited. And there was so many people stopping, and like they were stopping after each lap. She would stop, had a quick drink, because it was warm. It was like, it was a hot day to do that last, and she had to start at 1:30. Obviously, a lot of her ones started a lot earlier to beat the heat. So starting at 1:30 so she could finish at 6. Did it right smack bang in a hot day. But every time there was kids, there was a lot of kids actually, and she was stopping, talking to them, doing selfies with everyone. And like her energy, like we've heard it on the podcast, we've seen her socials, but in person, it's just infectious, and you could just see, could not, have a good time running with her, like, and I didn't really run that closely with her. There was just so many people around. We just sort of backed off, gave her space, and let other people would come up. But you could just see everyone that she interacted with she was so thankful and so just happy to be out there. And it was just, I could absolutely think that's what she would have been like for the last 150 days. We have seen a few of the raw, like where things have gone wrong and it's been tough, but for the most part, her attitude is just phenomenal. And it was really cool to see in real life.
Just to see it all come
After-
together.
Yeah, and I say real life. It's because it feels like we have just watched this and through our phones and through the podcast we've caught up, and like like I said, when I drove past and I just see her out there, it's like, what the hell? That's her. She was chatting to her back in day 6 or something, when couldn't really get reception and just talking, and now it's she's down here in Melbourne. So yeah, it was a real spin out.
I mean, even the fundraising's gone absolutely insane as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is the real world record chat, really, isn't it? Like the way she's just captured, like a lot of people have. It's gone under the radar, hasn't it? Like the way that the BBC now picked it up and CNN, and then the project was. I watched the clip before. Someone had mentioned she was on project, and I watched it back and. Really good 4 minutes, and she did a great interview. They were down at the tan, so it was like a live cross sort of thing. And yeah, she's just such a cool, what she's done. Yeah, 120. I had a look before. It was about 125K there.
Wow, so just over double what she set out to achieve in the first place.
Yeah, but she was 95 before the last Mara.
Yeah,
so cool, and just seeing it pop up everywhere. And there was couple of there was an article in the Guardian, and I think I've seen this in a couple of things where they were talking. They sort of asked her about how the body's going, and she said nearly 5 months of data has taken a toll of Murray Bartlett said her feet had increased half. So in this one, she's saying half a shoe size. On the project, she said it was a full size. And we're covered in calluses. So might need to go see our go down to the Fits pod and see Soph.
So yeah, might be a complimentary treatment from Soph just to get in there and hopefully put Erchana back together.
Do you want to go near those feet after? Yeah, but it was so cool to see.
Oh, and just to think it's over.
Yeah, it's what do you do the next day? I know she probably had a hangover, but how do you? I don't know. What's your next run going to feel like? Where you've just got an hour run, or not even? You go, I'll just go for a 30-minute run. Like, how could you, when you've been doing 4 or 5 hour runs day in, day out? It's like, well, all right. We talk about a recovery week with a 65K week off a base of 80. Okay. Obviously, you can't keep going at the rate you're going, but
be really interested then the next time that we do catch up with her and have a chat. Like we talk about, the post-marathon blues, because you've got that downtime and your routine's out because you're not doing those big Ks. Well, the routine's completely different now for Erchana because literally she isn't getting out there and running a marathon each day. So it'd be really cool when we do eventually catch up down the track just to find out what this little period's been like. While there is a bit more downtime.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about where she goes with her running now, because she's going to need a break, and then she's obviously so entrenched in the running scene here, and you don't know, there would be a lot of opportunities potentially to go, and probably people saying, hey, why don't you do this, or we'd love you to try this, and I'm sure there'd be a lot of things that would be exciting. She's obviously got a sense of adventure, so who knows what the next one is. So yeah, really cool. So that was a bit of an impromptu world record chat then, I guess, Chriso.
Yeah, there we go. 150. And look, we haven't even scratched the surface of doing it justice. I don't think we can. It's just been absolutely phenomenal what Erchana's achieved, and to
that doco, how cool will that be if when that, I know she sort of hinted at partner putting this together and building a doco off it. that would be awesome, because I reckon there's a lot of, yes, you can see some things in the social clips and you scroll through and you see some cool photos, but a lot of stuff behind the scenes that potentially, we would see in a full-length doco.
Yeah, I can't wait till that comes together. And even like just judging on the quality that you've seen just in the little reels that pop up on Instagram, like I'm sure it'll be really cool when they've got the time to sit down and pick the things that they want to pop in and put it together. I think it'll capture it really well.
Nice one. And better talk about last night's session actually, Chriso. Managed to get out to Melbourne Uni. Join the crew.
Yeah, back on the track.
No, we're on Princess Park.
Oh, okay. That's still okay though.
Yeah, no track.
No track yet.
The plan is to get on the track with the guys, but Max had a session 4 by, we'll call it Optus Oval reps, which is an old saying because it's next to, I believe it's Carlton's training ground, which is
it Icon Park or something? Yeah. I think they call it.
Yeah. Optus Oval is so the old Melbourne Uni crew, a lot of the old, back in whenever it was Optus Oval, and they actually played footy there, I think, games, but it's essentially half laps. So you start and finish around the Optus Oval, the Icon Park sort of area. So it's about it's 1.5. It's under a mile.
So like standing recoveries, or do you sort of come back up?
Yeah, you shuffle through the middle. Yeah. So you actually go through that section. So you keep moving, and it's I hadn't joined the crew, and I was chatting to Ella because obviously we want to get into 2 sessions, and this second session first session of the week is, it's transitioning to it solid, and this is quite a big one. It was hot too. Ella decided he was going to ditch it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. He was going to session a little bit later in the week, and it was so with that 15. It's effectively mile reps, and our sort of goal was to go out at like 3:30s to 3:25s, and obviously in the heat it was like maybe be a little bit adjusted, but the first rep actually, so a few Kiwi Steve, he had 3 by a mile, or he just did the Optus Oval loop and then into some hill strides, a couple of others, and then I was sort of in no man's land. Max went out with Steve, and the first rep I was just sort of by myself, and which was fine, and just trying to use the second rep to gauge the pace. And there was a couple of guys that probably went out a little bit hot in the first one. I was sort of able to sort of pick them off in the third rep, but I was still sort of struggling. I just couldn't find the effort. Like I was pushing, but it just wasn't coming out. I think I just, the heat, but I was probably just tired. And also it's probably just a level of where I'm at. It's, I'm having some good workouts on the Saturdays when I'm sort of freshened up and hitting the roads, but you get a bit exposed when you're doing these sort of sessions. And I was a little bit, I think it was 3:28s for the first one, 3:31, 3:33s, and 3:36s on the last rep.
Okay.
I felt like I was, even in the last rep, I thought, I'm pushing here. Like I think I'm going to be not far. I suppose I wasn't too far off the average pace in the last one. But I just felt like I did my best to box on, but it was a little bit flat. I think it's probably one of those ones, and that's going to happen, isn't it? When you move to 2 sessions as opposed to 1, it's hard to get the 2 right on. Like I felt like I really hit the Saturday session, but the Tuesday was.
I think just backing up from a long run, in a hilly long run at that too, for your Tuesday session is always tough. Like there's not a massive amount of turnaround. So and look, given that it was quite warm as well, you need to respect that. And even probably whilst you didn't run that many Ks on Monday night, you're still on your feet for quite a while. As well.
Yeah, and just even off the back of that, I just even tonight, I just felt I ended up cutting my run short, about 10 minutes short. I was just a little bit niggly in the glute, just in the left glute. It was just doesn't feel, just feels like I need a bit weak through there. Like I just need to activate some things and just get. So yeah, ended up just a little bit shorter tonight, which is, you get those. It's one of those things, even though it's 10 minutes, you know that you would have liked to have done 50, 60 minutes or 55. When you cut a run short and you think, oh, it's a little niggle to manage.
Yeah.
It bums you out a little bit and you just kind of go, well, just got to give it time. And, I think sleep's always a great recovery tool with a niggle. I think, get extra sleep in, get on the roller and be a bit more diligent with some of my prehab or some exercises. So yeah, it's still part of this little transition into more intensity, like sort of stirring things up by getting back into the two workouts and getting over the hills again, being back at work. So just got to be mindful that there's a lot of contributing factors.
Yeah. Do you reckon you looking at having a recovery week anytime soon, or just going to try and manage through it? Sort of,
Yeah. Well, we want to hit a park run at the end of the month, so we'll probably try and freshen up. So probably, maybe get through this one and then just back off a bit, and then really freshen up and hit that. So I guess it's more of a taper week. Than a full recovery, and then come off that with a bit of recovery.
Yep.
So yeah, stay tuned and hopefully it all settles down.
Sounds good, mate. So things are still tracking in the right direction, aren't they?
They are. And look, I'm doing this is probably even doing that sort of session, like you said, off a long run on a Saturday, it's more volume than I probably have done. So it's good to be in that position.
Yep. Good stuff.
Joining us once again on the Better With Running podcast is our journalist and running nut. I think last time you were the running, I think I referred to you as a couple of other things, maybe.
I think I was a nuffy. I think you gave me running nuffy last time.
Yep.
Yeah. Which
We're
is
going
accurate.
nut this time.
Yeah.
Is Mitch Dyer. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Thanks so much for having me, boys. Happy New Year. We've made it. 2023. Cannot believe it.
Happy New Year. Very exciting year ahead now in athletics, and it's kicked off with a bang.
Yeah, it sure has. I mean, they didn't give them much time after New Year's, so hopefully none of them, went out and celebrated all that hard. But by looks of the results, they all must have tucked themselves into bed nice and early, because it was a great morning out in Canberra. Could not have got better conditions, could they?
It was so cool to see, and and the coverage. How about that?
Yeah.
Mate, to another level, didn't they?
Yeah, big shout out to Lockie Morehouse and Tommy Thorpe, who's doing a lot of the work there for World Cross. And I know there's a lot of others involved with it, but know those boys better than the others. And it was awesome. I love the aerial shots. I love the drone shots. The camera on the back of the little gator that was out in front of them. It was real NCAA vibes.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
So it was good to see. But they all left it out there, didn't they? There was some interesting little developments throughout the races, and some things I probably saw coming, and then others where I was like, shit, a bit taken back, and love watching the show.
There's a lot of pre-race hype for this, wasn't there? Like, there was just, you saw the start list come out, and there was a lot of chat about, okay, who is, and obviously the way it was, top three are guaranteed, and then the fallout from where you finished after that, and how that was going to, put you instead in terms of a discretionary pick. And they all raced like their heart was on the line, wasn't it?
Oh, 100%. And you didn't want to leave anything to chance for a lot of them either. Like that discretionary spot, you think it's pretty staple. You think that top six is going through, but you look at the women, is there a spot in there for Sinead Diver? So is that only the top five? And then you can make a case for a handful of others too. So, you're not safe unless you're in the top 3. And the women's open race is a perfect example of that, because obviously I think Izzy will go through in 4th, but the fight between her and Caitlin Adams to get that 3rd spot at the end was proof enough that, even the caliber of Izzy and what she's done is still really desperate to get to that 3rd automatic spot. So, fuck, I'd hate to be a selector. I think I said that when we spoke last time. I would hate to have to do it. I would hate to, pick people apart or kick people out of spots, but it's got to be done. I thought it would be announced today, to be honest, but obviously we're all still waiting for it.
I heard they were meeting early in the week, so it must be close.
There's got to be some up in the air, or it could be some, like, someone might be appealing, somebody might be sort of throwing into question a decision that's been made or whatever. You never know what's going on behind the scenes, but the exciting part is no matter who they select, no matter whether it's the top 6 or people are coming in, they're strong teams. I reckon they're the strongest teams we've had in a long time. So if you're a fan of distance running and cross country, it's exciting.
So throw your selectors hat on, mate. So just because they haven't announced the teams, and that's because we've sacked them and we've made you head selector.
Oh, Christ.
Breaking news. We've just broken an exclusive here on the podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously, the top 3 are set. The men's and ladies in the top 10. So I think, look, the 2K, the mixed relay almost picks itself. You sort of obviously got the 2 that qualified in, Abby and Stu, and probably Ollie Hoare, and look, you'd imagine Jess Hull would take the other spot there. But there's some spots there up for grabs, and I guess we don't know who's nominated and who hasn't. But I guess even without the top 3 that qualified, I know you would have picked Liam Adams first. But that goes without saying. But who would you have, mate? It doesn't necessarily have to be the best, but who do you reckon is going to go and head up to Bathurst and kick some ass in the green and gold?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I'll start with the open men. I'm stoked with that top 3. I loved what Matty Ramsden got out and did. And there was a comment, he was talking to me after, and I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that Rambo sort of struggled to make teams in the past. But I mean, he's Commonwealth Games, World Juniors, World Champs, World Cross. I mean, there's only one team he hasn't made, and that's an Olympic team. So he's a class athlete, and to see him go out there and dominate, I loved it. Got his confidence up. Jack looked like he just did what he had to do. That's just how Rain Man does things now. He gets his pick of the bunch. So, and then you round it out with Brett. I mean, there's already a stellar top 3. You go down from there. Rory Hunter in 4th caught me. That was one that got me for sure.
I reckon a lot of people slept on that. No one was talking down in the preview.
Nah, man. And I just, hats off to him. He's a Canberra local, and he obviously knows the course so well. But I didn't know if he had the 10K legs in him. Yeah. So to go out there and do what he did, I thought was super impressive. Andy was 5th, and Jackson Sharp, the Wisconsin product, was 6th. Yeah. I think I'm very happy with Andy staying in that team. I think after his marathon debut at the green and gold, he certainly deserves it. If I had to, I want Jackson to be in the team because he's young and he deserves an opportunity at an open level team. But if you're picking it on pure strength, then I don't know whether he's nominated or not, but it'd be hard to look past a Pat Tiernan. Particularly after what he did in Chicago. He hasn't had a hiccup since, from all accounts. Maybe he was a little bit sore afterwards. But you look at his resume, and he's somebody that can handle the distance, a home, ground advantage. I know he trains and lives in the States, whatever. But I think he's a hard one to leave out of it if he's nominated. Another guy that, I again probably have a bias towards, but even someone like Morgan McDonald, whether or not he's nominated, how fit he is. I know he's been training a lot, but, those are 2 guys that sort of spring to mind. If I had to pick one or the other, probably Pat. But the selectors might go young. They might go, look, Jackson did enough. He was 6th. He ran really well. A guy that I feel bad for in 7th was Andre Waring. I really wanted to see him pull on his first jersey. That would have been awesome. But sadly, I don't see a way that he gets in unless Jackson gets sick and the other 2 don't nominate. So I'm rocking with the top 5. I reckon they're pretty solid. Yeah. But if I had to put one more in, it's probably Pat Tiernan, I reckon, in that 6th spot. But again, stoked if it is Jackson Sharp that stays in there just for that opportunity's sake.
It's like weighing up, do you go young blood opportunity versus experienced head? Probably because he didn't get a chance to run, on paper, what he's done in the past, you would have backed him in, but didn't do it, didn't run the trial, so we don't know. It's a tough one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to call Jackson Sharp, tell a young kid, we're not sending you. But I'm sure Jackson would understand if it was somebody with more senior experience, where he'd go, okay, I understand that, but it'd be, frustrating at the same time. In terms of women, I
was just going to say, especially given that they've only said 3 spots guaranteed and the rest is discretion.
Yeah.
You need to pull that off. You got to go like 5, 4, maybe.
I agree. I don't like it. I reckon it should be 5 and leave a spot. Make that 5 lock in.
Yeah.
And then you leave a spot, because you can't have too many people as well not racing the trials. Like, I know that people have excuses and they're overseas and they might not be able to get home for it, and that's all well and good. But I mean, if you are training overseas and living overseas, you have opportunities that people who are staying in Australia don't have as well. And for Jackson Sharp, he's a collegiate athlete. He's obviously stayed home longer so that he can run these trials, and now hopefully run World Cross. So he's given up some things. So it's a tough one. I agree with you. I think the 3 is too little. I think you need 5 and then 1 discretionary spot. That's the best way to move forward, in my opinion.
Women's side, what a race that was.
Oh, mate, how good. Honestly, I reckon that was just about the race of the morning, to be honest. Such a deep field as well. And the top 3, I thought Caitlin would qualify, I thought she'd be in the top 6, but her third place caught me by surprise a little bit. I thought it would just be straight shooting, Rose, Leanne, and Izzy, to be honest. I thought that would be the top 3. So Caitlin did so well to finish 3rd. Izzy locking at 4. You can't not put her in there.
Yeah, she's
Holly Campbell at 5. What a run from her,
bucket, wasn't it?
Yeah, huge run. And it could prove crucial in the end, because I'm trying to think who didn't run the trials that would throw their hand up. The most likely of them all is Sinead, obviously. So I feel like, unfortunately and Jess, there you go. So 2 big ones, because she was on the list to run as well. Then obviously
so last minute pull out. So
so there you go. Okay, so shit, I forgot about Jess. I unfortunately think then that 4 is locked away, because Izzy or Caitlin interchangeable would have been locked in no matter what. But unfortunately, I think for Holly and for Ellie, and Ellie's got senior experience as well, don't forget, and she's just had a baby, and like, what an amazing story. You can't leave Jess and Sinead out. Eloise Wellings as well, there's one. I don't know what Eloise is doing, but there's another marathon name and another Australian representative from last year.
I know with this nomination and all the rest of it, like, would the sport be more exciting if we knew more? Like, why don't they, like, freaking broadcaster selectors, like, deciding over this? Put it on AV.
I completely agree. Yeah,
it should
be like a draft.
Yeah, it should be like a draft. And we know beforehand who's nominated.
Yeah.
Rather than these Chinese whispers going, I don't know if Sinead's doing, she might be doing a marathon. Like, as a fan, how are we supposed to follow this when we're just all going, well, we don't even know. Like, there was a trial on the weekend. 3 people are in. Someone might be there. We don't know. The other one might have had an issue with a visa. Maybe that's a way to let people into the sport, because it's boring if you're just watching racing and you don't know the actual context behind why people are in selection.
No, I completely agree. And not to drag on the NCAA thing again, but I mean, when they go into their final races of the year, they have a full board and they show you who's in, who's out, where people are positioned, rah. I would always find it interesting if they had a section, even on the stream or whatever, that told you the names who have nominated, and like you cross the line, you're like, well, like I just did then, like completely forgot about Jess. But if I can see it live, I'm like, well, fuck, like there's 2 spots gone. So now this top 4 becomes even more important, or that 4th spot becomes so important. It just creates this atmosphere. And I don't know what it is about, like, sometimes the way that AA does things, they keep you in this shroud of mystery, and it's like, we'll hold all the cards and then we'll tell you. It's like, well, no, you want people to be engaged. Like, I would watch that. If that was on, I'd be like, shit, I'm watching this go down. For sure. So that's going to be tough for the girls, I think, for Holly and and for Ellie, but I'd probably, Chris, to answer your question, I'd probably have to put Jess and Sinead in. 1,000% Sinead. I'm hoping there's no injury to Jess, and that's not the reason why she didn't run in the trials. If fully healthy, have to put them both in, I would say. So unfortunately for Holly and Ellie, they would maybe in this circumstance miss out, which I think is harsh. I do think it's hard kicking people out that have actually competed at the trials, but home ground as well, it's even more important to have your best team there.
Well, the fact that they've said half the spots are discretion, and if you playing that side of things, well, if half of it is I don't need to be there, then why not miss the trial?
No, 100%. Just hold on one second. I'll grab my computer charger here, boys. I'm going to mute you.
Yeah, so that women's selections, we will just be waiting on the edge of our seat for these results to come out, or these teams to come out. But men's 2K and the women's 2K. So the mixed relay trials.
Yeah. So this is 2 men and 2 women, just to get this right. Am I correct? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure I didn't get that one wrong. Mate, how is Stewie? I mean, what can you say? Who else would it be? Who else was it going to be to win that thing? I mean, not to take away from any of the other athletes that are in there, but I mean, once Stewie pressed go, the Jets were on and he was gone. So it was good. I actually really Stewie ran it, to be completely honest with you, because I think sometimes when you're in a position like Stu's and it's almost like, oh, well, he's going to win it. Like he almost didn't need to run it because he would have been selected no matter what. But the fact that he did, and he put his, not reputation on the line, but like, what if something went wrong and somebody knocked him off and then it goes, well, shit.
I don't know how it would have even worked, because if there's there's one from the race and one discretion. So did he chat to Ollie and say, hey, Ollie, Ollie said, hey, mate, take a bullet. You're going to have to run it because I'm going to take I'm taking the discretion. Because if Stewie had to run that because Ollie wasn't, and Ollie was saying he's the one that's being picked already. So, yeah, I think you're frozen, mate. Have we got him? I think he's dropped out.
He's dropped out. Enjoying some pizza.
News Corp can't fail me here.
He's back. Sorry, mate. I think you froze, but you are back. We were just saying, Stewie, had to run that because Ollie's like, he said, hey, I'm taking the spot. So, I don't know.
Literally, it's hard, isn't it? Because I wonder for the other guys in the race, you would have had to walk into it, go, oh, I've just got to beat Stu.
Yeah, just got to trip him up.
Yeah, literally. Like, I wonder. Honestly, there'd be a part of me on the line where I'd be like, quick elbow here, and it's all over for him. Like, I'm getting up here. But look, Stu and Ollie, what a 1-2 punch that is on the men's side. Yeah, that is just. Look, they're a real shot. They are a real shot at a medal, I think. And again, maybe Australian bias, but you got 2 3:30 1,500 meter guys clocking in, and depending on the women, you've got Abby, who is just over the 4-minute mark, and I mean, if we look at second place in Jess, who I'm assuming is going to get it, she's the Australian record holder under 4 minutes. So, I mean, that's a pretty lethal 4-way combination.
What'd you make of Abby's run? Just on that, I mean, we
how good, mate. Mate, she just turned on the Jets. Like, I was watching and I thought, oh, well, Jess is going to control this. And she did. She ran from the front and looked like she was so comfortable. And then all of a sudden it was just like, nah, don't worry about it. It's the young guns game. I mean, and almost shouldn't be surprised. She was 3rd at the Com Games. So, I mean, she's a Commonwealth Games bronze medalist. But, mate, whatever speed training Gav Burren has given Abby, he needs to share the secrets, because the way that she just, and no regular AV meet, like this is the best of Australian 1,500, 3K, 5K runners on display, and just straight on through. So strong as well. It's exciting. She's such an exciting athlete. That is.
Did you know? Have you spent some time with Abby in the past? Like, have you hanged out with? Because I know I'd be interested to know her mindset, because she's going up against Jess Hull, and she is obviously absolutely mentally so tough, and just goes out there with such intent. It's I'd be interested to know, because it doesn't seem to do a lot of me. Like, we really haven't heard a lot from her. I guess she's quite young and she's just burst onto the scene. I'd be really interested to see what the mindset was on the line, going, okay, I'm going to take down Jess Hull.
Yeah, I'd be really interested too. I don't really know her super well. We've gone back and forth on a few conversations, but look, anyone that's trained by Gav has a tick of approval for me in terms of being able to control things, because he is just one of the better men, not just in athletics but in general. And anyone that he coaches, I think, has to have the ability to be like playful, a bit fun, a bit relaxed, but also when you're on the line, it's go time. So whatever balance it is that Gav's found with Abby, he struck gold. And what I love the most is that she stayed with Gav. It's her and Gav in this together. And, you know, not to knock athletes that move to other coaches and stuff. Like, I've done the same thing, and it makes sense. You want to get in a big environment. That's wonderful. But Abby's obviously found a formula that works with Gav, and they have such a really unique and deep connection. And hopefully that's something that athletes, juniors, can look up to and go, okay, you know, this has been Abby's junior coach, and they have built this like really lovely connection, and she's stuck with it. So maybe other athletes will look to do the same. I'm not sure, but yeah, she'd have to be a chiller. She would have to be a pretty relaxed operator, I think, to be with Gav. And yeah, I'm excited to see what these next Olympic cycle looks like for her too.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
No, I reckon you're on the money with the medal tip, mate. Like, even if think about it, even if it was just on the track. So if we had a 4x1500 on the track, you know, like all these, like Stewie and Ollie, obviously, you know, world championship caliber athletes. You look at Diamond League, they're always punching around that sort of top 4, top 5. And you know, whilst we haven't seen a lot of Abby on the Diamond League circuit because she's so young. I mean, she's what, 21, 22?
Yeah, I think 21.
Yeah. So, you know, look, more to come in that space there for her. But, you know, out and out racing against the best athletes in the world, if it was a 4x1500, we'd stack up really well. So, let alone cross country. And I know perhaps the field in the 2K mixed relay might not be as deep. Just because, and it's in, you know, obviously in Australia, not everyone's going to travel to come out here just for a relay. But how good would it be for the sport? Because I suppose it's the medals that get the attention from the general public.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Absolutely. So, yeah, and the funding and everything, like, it brings with it so much. So it'd be, lack of a better word, it'd be fucking huge if they could win a medal. Like, it would just, and on home soil and at Bathurst, you know, there's so much history there.
That home soil, like, you imagine in a relay when the last leg and you've got a whole of, you know, the Bathurst, like, the crowd just 98%, because I don't think a lot of people come over and travel to go to World Cross. So it'll be a few, you know, obviously officials and the rest, but it'll be very one-sided fans. So they'll be just tearing the place down.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and just announced today on free to air live TV as well, mate.
Oh, really?
SBS Viceland have picked up. They've come to the party, and
that's massive, eh? That's so good. Good. I'm glad it's not behind a paywall. It's glad it's not behind Fox or anything like that. Like, Fox do an amazing job, great organization, but the fact that everybody can watch this now live, that's what athletics needs. This is it's almost exposure over money now. It's got to be like, get these athletes in front of people and let them see what we're going through in terms of distance running, because I think we're really deep, but we need people to see it. If it's out of sight, out of mind. So that's awesome. Fuck, huge get.
Absolutely.
Huge get, mate. That's it.
4 hours of coverage, mate. 3:30 to 7:30. It's going to be on.
That's amazing. I love that. And I saw that Lynchy and Tamsin are going to be doing it for World Athletics as well. So it's an all Aussie cast.
It is. Okay. Hosting. So we're going to ask you about that. So that's the intel you've got, is that they'll have is that a world feed, or is that like? So
I think it's just World Athletics will, I'm assuming, do a feed, or whoever they, operate through outside of their own 4 walls. But from what I know, it's, Lynchy and Tamsin going at it together, which is great, which is awesome that we have a full Aussie cast. Yeah. And, you know, Lynchy's been commentating through Australia for so long, so it's great that he's been given the nod, and he does such a good job. He's so informative, and he knows the athletes pretty well, and Tamsin obviously knows them even better. So she's done a bit of training under Bruce. Obviously, we saw that over in Birmingham. So she's been well equipped for it. So yeah, those two do an awesome job. But good, get more Aussies on speakers. So every time, like, it's not just when I commentate, it's when Nick Wall commentates, it's when Tim commentates, it's when all these people comments on social media like, these Aussies hit different. Like these guys hit different, and it's like, no shit, we hit different because like we are different. So more of
you're
our
hitting
voices
from
that we can
another
get out
bloody
there.
ballpark the way you go about it.
Yeah, I'm hitting them from the car park, and everybody else is sitting in the box. Like I'm miles away. They're playing chess. I'm on a jet ski, mate. I'm miles away. So it's great. Honestly, I love that we have more voices out there, and that it's free to air. Even better.
And the momentum's going to continue because you would have seen the announcement of the Maury Plant meet.
Yes.
In Melbourne.
Yeah, I did. I love it. Bringing A grade athletics back to Australia. It's huge. Well done to AA for getting that over the line. That's massive. And to name it after Maury, yeah, just massive. And like, I feel like for a while there, we were in this wilderness where it was just, we'd put so much into it for so long. Think about the elite Zatopek fields we've had. Think about Melbourne Track Classics, all that we had going for so long, and then just stopped. And it was like, well, what the fuck happened? Like, where are all these world-class athletes? What's going on? To name Fred as the first signing, the big name to come across as well.
That was huge.
Oh,
and you saw it cut through mass media.
Yeah.
Did Dan? I think Dan Andrews might have.
Oh, yeah,
no, it was about Rowan.
He shared it about Rowan. Yeah, he said it about his aerodynamic hairstyle. But it's great. Like, that's the shit you need. You need people that aren't involved in the sport talking about it. You need to, like, if I was in AA, I would just be spruiking this thing. I'd be trying to send Fred to rugby clubs. I'd be trying to send him everywhere and go,
get
like,
him an AFL jumper.
Bloody oath. This is the fastest 200-meter runner, 100-meter runner in the world, like last year, right? You guys think you're fast, step on the line with Fred right now. Because there's nothing more that pisses me off than these like AFL pundits come out here. They're like, you know, if he had a run in this, he would beat Jack Hale. It's like, no, he'd get his shit rocked. So put Fred out there.
You know, we're going to be in Feb and we're going to be it's going to be a dead sort of period, I would suspect, in sport. So like, this is a chance to really put it on the, put it up in lights and some big names that are going to. Have you heard any other whispers about anyone else coming out?
Don't worry, I've been asking. I've been knocking on doors. They don't tell me much. They do not want to give me too much information, which is fair enough because they've obviously worked hard for it. But I
heard allegedly Centrowitz, which
really.
Yeah, which is a name of I guess he's on the comeback trail, but that was a whisper that came across my desk.
I like that. Centro would be great.
He's been out here before. He's actually trained at Melbourne Uni before.
Well, and he stayed with Ed Goddard. He stayed with Gav Burren as well. So there you go.
Connection there.
There's how Gav pops back up again. I'll tell you what, in distance running, and this is a rogue one, but if they're after a name that is an elite runner and just ridiculous following, get Craig Engels to Australia. Get that man out here. He is the most interesting, like engaging man in athletics. I've spent time with Craig. Like I've met him at college. I've met him over in Eugene again. Like I was going to drive his RV across the country to Eugene.
Get him over, mate. Just make it happen.
Get him over. I'm going to need a bit of commish from AA to do that. You know, he guys like that. I mean, I know they might not be the fastest in the world, but if you want to get personalities out here, they need to start tapping into some of these personalities, even in throws, in jumps. Find the people that stand out and get them down here, because they're the ones who film content. They're the ones who are on YouTube. They're the ones who are on podcasts, whatever. Get them down. Get them going. Bring Coffee Club. Bring them all.
Yeah, particularly this early into the season, where points are up for grabs, and you know, people are, what better place to come to Australia in middle of Feb?
Oh, absolutely. Big for the world champs. Big for world champs points. Like, this is and it's the time of year where some people are not sleeping, but, you know, as you said, it's the start of the season. So people are sort of like getting into their rhythm. Not that Fred needs points, I'm assuming. Like, he's going to be fine. He's a swaggiest dude. He was just like I'm not kidding. In Eugene, what's his name? The big the big rapper.
That narrows it down about
Yeah,
10,000.
Christ, I cannot remember for the life. Yeah, for the life of me right now. Astro World, can't remember, but
We'll go
he
with that.
literally,
We'll go with that.
yeah, he literally had like rappers rolling through to watch him run in Eugene in boxes. Like,
Yeah.
it was sick. I was like, this is killing me. I can't. I have
I
to know
remember
what his
hearing
name.
a podcast with Michael Johnson, and he was saying back in the day, all his mates were NFL players because he sort of, but they were obsessed with his running. But then he'd go out and he'd have the gold medals, and
Yeah.
they'd all talk to the NFL players, and he's like, the NFL players like, you should talk to him. He's won like 8 gold medals.
Yeah, talk to this man. Like, don't give a shit about. I'm some wide receiver for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me. I got 500 reception yards this year. This bloke's got gold medals. Travis Scott is who I'm thinking of.
Oh wow.
He had Travis Scott rolling through Eugene.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy. Yeah.
It was just, he will bring a presence. He will bring something that's special. And
it's got to be broadcast. I was reading an article about where they've got as part of this level, the meet that has to go to 150 countries on a live stream across the world. So
really,
it is. Yeah,
that's big time.
Got to do a certain amount of prize money, a certain amount in the country. So it is. Also, it's the tier down from Diamond League. So it's,
that's awesome.
Big.
I hope it continues. I hope it really, but it relies on the public now a little bit too. Like we've got to
pack it out. If we can't get 3,000, because what's Albert Park? I think it's only 3,000 or 4,000.
Yeah, 3,000 or 4,000 probably, unless they put those stands like they did for Nitro. I don't know, but
yeah, geez, if you don't get 3,000 people there, can sell it out, then that's
this is the time. Like this month of February is the time where athletic fans, distance fans, whatever, they're always on forums, always talking. They're like, oh, we need more of this, we need more of that. I want to do this and that. And then it comes around, they don't come. And then meets stop, and they're like, oh, but what about? Nah, read my lips. I know you can't, but listen to my words. If you want this stuff to stay, go. Pay the money to go. Like, I know not everybody can afford it, but if you can, go. And you'll have a great time, and we'll keep it coming through Australia, and it'll only get bigger. Like, I'm not going to Bathurst. Like, I'm not going with News Corp or anything. There was talks of it, but we're not going. If I didn't have to work, I would pay to go down to Bathurst. Like, no question about it. Like, get down to Maury Plant. Go see Fred. It's going to be sick.
It's going to be huge, and there's going to be more names coming out. And I reckon closer to that build up, mate, we'll get you on, and we'll have a few more names in concrete that we can hype up.
Oh, it's exciting.
Mitch, before you go, mate, speaking of getting big names down to the track, when we caught up last time, mate, you were heading down to the track for a bit of Vic Milas.
Oh, no. Yeah.
How did it all go down?
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what. So it was originally a race between me and one of my best mates, Pete Chappell, which I mentioned. And anyway, Chubb's got a hold of it, Steve Deneen, and he was like, yeah, I want all of it. I want a part of it. So I was like, all right, no. Yeah, I was like, no dramas, 100% more the merrier. So we rolled in there, and realistically, I had no idea where I was at. I was just like, all right, I haven't run on a track in 4 or 5 years. Like, I'm gonna pace myself. Like, I'm a tragic for going out too hard. So I was like, I'm just gonna pace myself and really figure it out. So got out there and I'm spinning the noodles. I'm like, shit, this is all right. Like, I'm feeling pretty good. Got me bought super shoes for it. Like, I'm like, this is all right.
The real deal in the strides and the what? Did you have the AirPods out?
Oh shit, yeah. I was Fred for the night. I was in my zone, and I had my mate Jimmy Whelan down filming. He's like, "You're like the biggest wanker," and I was like, I don't care. Like, this is it, baby. And I'm through the first lap. I'm like, this is all right. And like, my dad came down to watch, because I think he just wanted to watch how I'd go. And I'm running around. I'm cooking. Like, I'm already rigging a little bit on the first lap. I won't lie. And I'm coming around like to 400 to go. And my old man yells out. He goes, "Go on, Steve. You're not far behind him." And I was like, right, all right. So I know where everyone's allegiance is now. So anyway, I get through the first lap. I'm like, all right, I'm chilling. Steve's behind me. Pete's behind me. I'm like, this is it. I'm feeling good. I don't think I've lost it tactically. I'm weaving through. I'm dodging like traffic. I'm all good. I'm putting my arm out and pushing some people. Everything's good. Get to like 500 to go, and I start to just creep up on the shoulder, and I'm like, I'm starting to feel myself now. I'm like, I'm winning the fucking thing. I'm like, I'm going for it. So I get to 400. I'm on the shoulder. You've seen the video. I'm on the shoulder. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to win this thing. I'm like, I don't know where Steve is, but I'm winning it. And so I'm already preparing my like victory speech in my head. I'm like, this is it. Get to 300 and my legs are shot to shit. And I'm like,
No.
I'm done. I'm like, I'm done, but I've still got Steve. I'm like, I've still got him. So we're all good. 20 meters later, here he comes. The little meatball just comes straight on past me. And like, he repped like a 61, 62 last lap. Like, he's cooking. And so I'm at 200, like, well, Steve's gone. Like, I'm like, Steve's gone. So I just got to hold on here. And then another guy came on my shoulder and I was like, Pete can't be far away. Like, I'm dying. Pete can't be far away. So I was just all out, disgusting form down the home straight. I don't know what I came. I'm going to say 7th, but I ran 4:09. So I was.
It was impressive. I loved the
I was happy
stream.
with that.
It was so cool watching it. And
Mick did such a good job.
Mick was unbelievable with his commentary. And then when you got a sniff to the front, I thought this. I actually nearly turned. I thought this is rigged. You've fixed it. This is some kind of Hollywood fairy tale finish. I was thinking, how is he going to win this? And
mate, I thought it was too. I thought they must have started paying athletes for a second. I'm like, bloody hell, I'm getting up here. And the thing with Steve, I'm going to roast Steve now. He's faster than what that time was. Like, he just wanted to be in that race. And he ran really well. He ran 4:05. Like, Steve's 42. Like, I was amazingly impressed. But next time around, I'm coming straight back for him. I'm coming. I know how to get him this time. I'm going to sit on him, and I'm going to leech off him for a while. But mate, I literally was throwing up for like an hour after the race. I was in all sorts. I was meant to go back and commentate, and I was like, I could not do it. I was like, I'm not well here.
It was a big spike in the views. It's like, there's a milers A race got 1,000 views, and then it's like the F race has got 15,000 views. Like, I'll work it out.
Oh, that's so good. I reckon after doing that, they should have like a grudge match every milers club. Yeah, or they do one race. I want to pitch it to all my mates and do that race every December. I want one race of just all blokes who don't run anymore. And it's all just guys who think they're really good, but we're all shit. And we just see who's actually the best out of us all. It's like bragging rights for the year. Because I reckon shit like that'd be funny.
Every club's got these rivals of people they've trained with over the years, and within
100%.
the club, and you just start pitching and say, hey, guys, like this meet, you're going to be part of the grudge match. There. And
I reckon it'd be awesome. It would get people like, if the viewers did spike and you're not stroking my ego, I reckon like it would be something. People would tune in.
Are we starting to go down this? Who's that YouTuber that gets in the ring with the is it Jake Paul? Or
he gets in with all the former pros. Yeah.
So we starting to go down this route where you start calling out celebrities and
I reckon I should take to social media and just call blokes out. And then just secretly train.
Just call footballers out and say, mate, you're on.
I actually might.
Money. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Who do I don't know if I know too many in the AFL anymore, but I might just start calling out, like, you know how they always say like the 2K time trial specialists? If I can beat them off not doing any training, they got to put that shit to bed. I reckon. Like, it should be embarrassing for them if that happens.
Well, AV or AA should just pay Blickharves to come back and do a race.
Yeah, literally.
Trump probably won't let him, but hey, he's probably going doing 2K time, like reps every day.
Put him in with Fred. Put him in there. Put him in with Fred, I reckon.
Maybe not that, but maybe the milers. Just go, hey, Blix is going to come pre-season. He's going to run he's going to do a 1,500. Take him on.
People would tune in 100%. They need to start doing some creative, like weird stuff like that.
Stuff like that. We've got to
I reckon. I pitched that I should wear a mic. I should have worn a microphone during the race.
I reckon
but we just couldn't. We couldn't organise it. It was a bit too expensive. But God, that would be funny. Not even me, just like other people putting on microphones during races. Oh, that'd be a piss up.
How'd you have been with 300 to go, mate, when the league started?
They would have had to like bleep out a lot. If I was vocalizing it, I would have had to bleep, because it was literally like, the moment in your race where you're like, God, I feel $1 million, and then all of a sudden you're like, I feel like a dumpster fire. I feel shit.
Pianos on the back.
It was that. I forgot how hard it was. I forgot how hard 1500s were.
So is there a rematch in the works? Maybe
100%. Yeah, I'll smack him down again. Yeah, I'll go again. I'm glad it wasn't 3K. He would have beaten me by like well over a lap if it was 3K. I think 1500s. That's the zone. Or to really fry him, we'll do the steeplechase because I don't reckon he can jump him. So if you listen to this, Steve, I reckon you've got short, piddly ass legs and you cannot jump steeplechases.
I'll tune in for
take
that.
you.
I will tune in for that.
I will take you. But no,
Love your work,
Steve.
mate.
Thanks, boys.
You're doing a few articles as well, so can people follow you? Is the best way to follow you on Twitter and maybe
probably, or if it's just like I'm starting to do some stuff for the Code now, which is News Corp's sporting designated website. So you can find me on there. Sometimes I think just look my name up, just Mitchell Dyer journalist, I think, on Google or whatever, and you can check in. Doing a lot more cycling stuff now as well, so it'll be good to get the endurance sports going. And if you want to read a really good story, I'm being biased, but Jimmy Whelan, former runner, hunting his second World Tour contract. All in, mate. He's burning through savings. He's doing everything he can to get back there. So if you want to read a story on perseverance,
deep dive with him.
Yeah, well, I've been best mates with him for a long time, and it just felt wrong to me that he wasn't getting any media exposure. He's a beautiful man, beautiful looking, beautiful behavior, and hardest working dude ever. So if you ever want to read a story on like truly going all in on your passion, Jimmy's your man. All the rest of my stories, they're okay, but that's the best one. That's the one.
I love it, mate. I love the passion, and I can imagine here you're doing them justice by really giving these athletes some airtime and some press.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Like, they deserve it so much, and I'm obviously new. I'm still cutting my teeth, but and I think it's sometimes I can connect with people quite well, but I think it takes them a little bit to like get used to my behavior sometimes. But look, hopefully News Corp keeps slinging me opportunities, and I'll keep knocking on the door. They've been so good in giving me the green light on so many things. So, I'll keep trying to pump it up as best we can. And with Will Cross and Fred and everyone coming through,
mate,
shit's hot right now.
More to chat about next time.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Looking forward to it, mate. Thanks again for your time.
No, thanks for having me on, boys. And sorry about the Wi-Fi. Now I'm going to go smash that pizza.
Enjoy the pizza, mate.
Can't wait, boys. Thanks so much. We'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, mate.
See you, lads.
Chriso, this week on the weekend, you would have seen on socials some. We mentioned at the top of the show some Borat action down at 2Bs. There was, but there was a number of Run2PB performances, a few debuts. As we mentioned, Mads was down there with one of her athletes, Mel. I had an athlete, Ingrid, and Tim was debuting on the trails. Dave P was out there. Coach Dave P was rolling around. It was actually his first trail running event. But it was a number of performances that caught our eye. But our hero of the week was featured there and on the debut as well. First time on the trails, 2Bs, 27K crack, and it was Liam Beecroft, who, mate, how about his Strava? Oh, I really enjoyed this. 2Bs, fuck, that was fun. Shoes and feet cooked, maybe 9th.
Yeah.
He was in fact 9th. It's been confirmed officially. And how about the photos of the shoes? He rocked the Vaporflies on the trails.
Mate, interesting shoe choice. I mean, what an absolute legend. Just rocking the Vaporflies. Sometimes like you wear a pair of shoes and you're, they're never going to get worn again. I'm looking at these shoes looking like they're falling apart at the seams. Looks like there's a chunk out of one of them, or maybe that's where he's still on a rock. It looks like the seam sort of splitting in the side a little bit. And these things, that they were like an aqua color, and they're just brown. They're just covered in dirt and dust and look like they've been shredded. But what a bloody amazing run. Top 10 finish, first up. One of Josh Harris's athletes, and just former gym junkie.
We were looking back at when he signed up back in 2021. He's sort of really getting into the running. He'd done some good times, and then he wanted to crack the 3 hour. Ended up under Josh's training and the working together as a partnership, and a 2:47 in his debut. And since then, he's just gone from strength to strength. And we did see back in some of his pre-running days, he was an absolute beast in the gym. pictures with the old Curbs protein powder and hat, and yeah, just rocking the protein shake, and after a few bicep curls. But
there's some good quality social media content there.
And, Liam, give him a follow. He is good value, always posting some fun stuff. But
amazing
chatting to
shape
Josh
still.
about it. Yeah, and he's a great shape. Josh would say, yeah, he just thought, I'll have a crack at the trail. Like, obviously, it wasn't he's done some work on the road, had a big PB in the half earlier last year, and it was just a bit of a chance to train for something different. And yeah, had a ball. He really enjoyed it. And it was just so cool to see, someone who has really transitioned in the sport. Looking back at some of these photos, he was enjoying the gym, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he just has obviously found running in the past few years, and now he's out there hanging out, top 10 finishes of 2 bays over 27K.
Mate, it's absolutely phenomenal run. I suppose, most of us runners, we're fairly slightly built. I would have loved to have seen Liam on the start line with all these dudes up the front. This man looks like he's
still bloody ripped, isn't he?
He is shredded. He's a very handsome man. I'm going to go out. I'm happy to say that he's doing very well for himself, and it looks like he's seriously. If someone had told me that this guy was playing halfback flank for an AFL team, I would have gone, yep, awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, believe it. Like he is doing very well. So the fact that he's covering the ground with that sort of ability, and there's a few more of us that have probably gone, hey, I should spend a bit more time in the gym.
Yeah.
But no, it's bloody awesome.
And Josh, I was just going to say, Josh did mention he's just been his work ethic and consistency. It's really like the last few months tapped into a bit of speed as well, and just tried a few different things. But the big thing is he's just stuck at it. He's been so consistent. He's stuck to the plan, and done some hilly long runs and done some solid work, and was rewarded with that 2 bays run.
No, it'd be good to see what he's got in store for the rest of the year. Like Liam's got a stack of talent as a runner, and when you combine talent with work ethic, there's some impressive results. And look, he's obviously achieved some really good times over the last 12 months, but he's still onwards and upwards from here, that's for sure.
Absolutely, mate. That's well done to Liam, and we'll chuck his socials in the Strava link in the show notes, because he's worth a follow. Some gold in some of his Strava.
No, he's a funny man, that's for sure.
All right, mate. It's been a big show. It's been great chatting, running, and a lot of hype with World Cross Country building and having a chat to Mitch. So that was good fun.
Mate, it's been a good night. I feel a bit spoiled. Actually, always love catching up with Mitch and sharing a few laughs. And hopefully his pizza hadn't gone cold, because we did have a few Wi-Fi issues, and it did take up a bit of his time. But what a legend, just for giving up some of his night to spend it with us.
Very much so, mate. Good fun. But enjoy the session tomorrow, mate. We'll chat about that next week.
Shall do. Looking forward to it.
All right. Take care, mate. See ya.
See ya. Bye.